Authorities say that actor Alec Baldwin shot and killed a woman on the set of his upcoming film Rust in New Mexico. The woman was the film's cinematographer. The director was also wounded. According to the Stage Actors Union, Baldwin's prop gun contained, quote, a single live round. Court documents state that before fatal shooting, Alec Baldwin was handed a loaded gun on the film set by a director who wasn't aware it was loaded. Fox News Digital has just obtained a 911 call from a script supervisor on the set, and the script supervisor can be heard blaming an assistant director for failing to make sure the prop gun was safe. Here's a part of that call.
So was it loaded with a real bullet or one?
I cannot tell you that.
Okay.
We have 2 injuries from a movie gun shot.
Okay, we're getting them out there already. Just stay on the phone with me.
Thank you. Okay. But this AD that yelled at me at lunch because asking about revisions. Did you see him lean over my table and yell at me? He's supposed to check the guns. He's responsible.
Deadline is now reporting that there had been a recent accidental discharge of the prop gun on the set. And the LA Times is reporting that crew members walked off the set just hours before the shooting. One crew member was reportedly complaining about gun safety. Tim Clemente is a Hollywood technical consultant and former FBI special agent, and he joins us now. So, Tim, on a legitimate movie set with safety protocols when you're dealing with a prop gun, what would go into something like using a gun during the filming?
The first thing, Jesse, is always the safety rules. There's 4 rules of firearm safety that you follow with any gun. Treat every weapon as if it's loaded. Never point a gun at anything you're not willing to kill or destroy. Never put your finger on the trigger unless you're willing to kill or destroy. And always be aware of what's in front of, behind, and around your target. All 4 of those rules were violated on that movie set. And if you follow those rules, nobody's in danger and nobody gets hurt. And I don't know that Alec Baldwin is to blame, the producers, the AD that woman mentioned, the assistant director. There's probably a whole host of people, because this is a cascading set of issues that led to this happening. Clearly, it wasn't just Alec having the gun in his hand. It was him not knowing that it was possibly loaded, him not treating it like it was loaded. And, you know, he bears a little bit of responsibility as a producer on set to make sure these things are being done. And clearly they weren't.
So one round, I guess, wounded one person and killed another. Are you thinking it was some sort of ricochet situation?
Well, generally the director and the director of photography are in very close proximity to each other on the set. They're usually right next to the camera or right behind the camera or somewhere very close by. And it's possible that it was one round, but possibly not a bullet. There could have been something else, another shell casing that was in the gun. I understand, since this is, I guess, a period piece, that it's most likely that it was a revolver. And so it is possible that the wrong caliber was put in first, or something else was introduced into the chamber, which was still in the chamber, and then a blank was put into the cylinder. The cylinder rotates, the gun fires, and whatever's in that barrel can be projected down the barrel. That could fragment and hit 2 people at the same time, or it could literally go through one person into the other.
And it looks like sloppiness because there was another incident, apparently days earlier, where there was a discharge situation that people were concerned about. And, you know, investigators are going to look at everything. They're going to look at sloppiness. They're going to look at sabotage. I think everything is on the table here. You don't have a loaded weapon on a set like that and treat it that cavalierly without multiple protocols being violated. It's just such a tragedy. And I don't see any sort of real explanation besides little leaks that we're hearing throughout the day. In your opinion, and you're familiar with this kind of situation, what does your gut tell you about what happened?
Well, I think there's a failure. There's supposed to be a prop master. There's usually an armorer whenever you have weapons on set. Both of those people are very responsible ordinarily, and they would be the person that you would go to with the weapon before and after you're going to use it. And so somebody should have handed the actor, in this case Alec Baldwin, a weapon and said, Alec, this is loaded. Don't point it at anybody. Don't put your finger on the trigger. When you shoot it, make sure you're pointing it in a safe direction. It's got a blank in it, and this, it can still cause harm. And then Alec should have recognized that. Once the shot is done, the gun is taken away by the prop master, the armorer, or whoever's responsible on set. Clearly, there was none of that. Apparently, during a rehearsal, he was holding the gun in his hand, and I don't know if this accident occurred during the rehearsal or during an actual scene they were filming. But either way, as I said, there's several people that are responsible, and I think one of the reasons we're not hearing a lot of detail coming out is because there could be criminal liability. And
Absolutely.
I don't disparage any of the people involved as individuals,
right.
But there are ramifications when something like this happens, and unfortunately, it can be criminal.
Right, and according to the 911 call, it looks like it wasn't the armorer or the prop master that handed the gun. It was the assistant director. So all of those things were not followed. Tim, thanks so much for the insight.